welcome back to the channel. Coming up in this episode, highlights from around the verse with Chris Roberts and Sandy Gardner, featuring highlights from the Austin studio update with Jake Ross, and there was also a special feature on how ships fit in ships. And this week there was an interesting happy hour about creating a solar system. Also, there's been a delay in the release of 3.0 to the Evercati. I'll give you my thoughts on that. But first, let's go to the highlights from the Austin studio update with Jake Ross. Now, Jake showed us that they've been working on plugging all the items for the shops back into the shops following a refactoring of the code by the LA engineering team. Now they're actually concentrating on the shops for 3.0, but they're also having another pass at the Area 18 shops in that landing zone. Now some of these changes means that you will be able to buy armour piece by piece as well. Now here's my favourite mission giver for 3.0, it's Miles Eckhart. Now Jake told us they've been working on their new feather blending animation technique to get Miles ready for his mission giving, and now he'll be able to give you missions based on reputation, and also he'll be able to respond to the player with a wide variety of lines. Following his work on the new Cutlass, Josh Coons is moving on to work on the Constellation Phoenix. Chris Smith has been working on bugs for the Constellation Andromeda and Hornet, but then he'll be moving on to making a promo video for the Constellation Aquila. Also, the diffusion back-end services are continuing to be worked on. Now Jake told us that they've been working on the wild line system for the AI NPCs, so expect the NPC AI to give the player a wide variety of replies. Now this also ties in with the new feather blending animation system as well. Now Jake also showed us that they're continuing to work on animations. They've actually gone through all their performance capture and they're actually incorporating any missing animations. Still working on some future R&D work for button presses for the cockpits of ships. So you'll be able to individually select all your buttons and equipment in your ship. Very nice displays here, and they're working on some hit animations. So basically the pilot's animations for the cockpit, if you take a hit on your ship from different sides, well, you'll see the correct animations. Now Austin is responsible for most of the back-end services for the game, and Jake told us that they're continuing to add some network infrastructure to the back-end services, and this will also tie in with work being done on the Delta Patcher. Now Jake told us that their resident audio engineer Jason Cobb is working on a variety of audio tasks, including some newly revamped debris sounds. He's also taking the opportunity to do some more audio sounds for some well, effects. Jake told us they're continuing to test the new Cutlass Black and other ships which will be in 3.0. Now they've also been continuing to work on a lot of technical systems which will go into 3.0. And QA are continuing to do some bug fixing in collaboration with the LA team. Now there was also an update from Turbulent, the developers of the RSI web platform Spectrum. Now, most importantly, they've been working on the Delta Patcher. Now, this will obviously is welcome news to a lot of people who have got download caps, and in the future it will possibly make updating Star Citizen a lot quicker. Now, they're also working on revamping the out-of-date ship stats on the RSI site.
Miles Eckhart is proving to be quite the popular test subject for various systems.
Definitely, he's the new cafeteria, really.
Now, also in Around the Verse, there was a very interesting segment on, well, they called it Ship in Ship. Now, basically, as we know, there's going to be a variety of ships, mostly small motorcycle type ships, like the Nox and the Dragonfly, which will fit into the back of ships. Now, to do this, they've got to actually get the technology perfected as well. We've had local physics grids in the ships where multiple players can move inside, but they've obviously got to get it working with parking little ships inside the bigger ships. And also this ties in with persistence, because they actually showed that, for example, you select your cutlass with your Nox inside, and well, you've got it inside your ship, but when you log off, you want it to be there when you come back. And obviously with the technology they're developing, this makes that possible, and so these things will be persistent. Now, this will also obviously include any cargo you've got in your ship as well. So anyway, this piece is well worth watching, and you can actually listen to the developers yourself explain the technical side of things, which, to be honest, is way beyond my capabilities. Now, this week's happy hour was all about creating a solar system with the Solad editor. Now, at the moment it's only geared to make the solar system, which will be in 3.0. Now, that's a small part of the Stanton system. Now, there was a few glitches. It is still work in progress, this editor, but this happy hour was really interesting. Now, the highlights for me was, of course, when they zoomed down with the editor seamlessly to the moon of Selin, and well, it was very impressive. Now, of course, we're all eagerly waiting for 3.0, and well, I'm especially waiting for it because, well, I want to show all that fantastic new gameplay and also put my ugly mug into some new locations. Now, unfortunately, there's been a slight delay to the release of 3.0 to the Evocati test group. Obviously, all these delays do create a bit of furore, and I'm afraid on Reddit people were going, well, ballistic. In fact, I read every post, and in fact that's probably why I've got a stiff neck, if you haven't noticed already. And remember, these production reports we've been getting have only been, well, estimates anyway, and we've seen the dates move, well, pretty frequently through the last few months. Now, that's because 3.0 is a big departure from what we've had in the game before. We're not just getting the well, these fantastic procedurally generated moons. with this fantastic technology. Now basically we're getting a totally different game because as new systems come online, they've been developing the tools behind the scenes to actually start to get the game where it's ultimately going to go. Now, game development on this scale takes a long time, and I pretty much realised last year after, well, all the controversy about dates and things not being shown, that Star Citizen was going to be a game which was going to take a long time in development. As we're privy to all the ups and downs because, well, we see everything happening before our eyes, it does seem that the delays, well, they're very visible to us. And obviously most games developed by publishers, well, you don't see anything until the last 6 months of development. And even with some of these games, delays are pretty common. And of course, most game developers basically have to ship, well, when the game is not quite done. They've got to do what the publisher tells them to do. And only a few developers, for example, Rockstar with Take-Two, and probably Naughty Dog with Sony, have the clout to say, well, it's not done, and it'll only come out when it's done. So, well, Star Citizen, well, it'll only come out when it's done. Now, if I was a Time Lord and I had a TARDIS, I could go into the future and come back and let you know what I find. But unfortunately, I'm not a Time Lord, so all I can do is wait and see. And that's basically all we can do. Whether you agree with development, how it's going in Star Citizen, or whether you're like me, patiently waiting, all we can do is wait. And I think we'll be okay. Well, thank you very much for watching. Hope you enjoyed this episode. Please don't forget to like, and also it would help the channel a lot if you could subscribe. So until next time, wherever you're watching out in that big universe, you take care, and hopefully I'll see you all next week. So until next time, you take care. Bye for now. Cheers.